starts now. Imagine you get into a car accident. You look around at the wreckage and realize your nightmare isn't over. While you were able to walk away from the crash, the person in the other car does not. They died at the hands of your mistake. Today you'll meet two women who are speaking about their secret shame after they accidentally killed someone. What happened when they realized another person's life was taken at their hands? And could they ever forgive themselves? On a dark country road in Midland, Texas, at the wheel of her father's Chevy Impala, Laura Bush was only 17 years old when she ran a stop sign, crashed, and accidentally killed her friend. That moment, she says, has haunted her for most of her adult life. Many other celebrities have opened up about the tremendous guilt and pain they've suffered after accidentally taking a life. For Venus Williams, it was the death of a 78-year-old man after a car crash that left her heartbroken. Rebecca Gayheart says she didn't want to live following her tragic car accident that killed a 9-year-old boy. An accidental killing is defined as a death resulting from a perfectly lawful act that one wouldn't expect to cause harm. It's estimated that over 1 million people a year cause an accidental death or injury, and headline after headline reveals how quickly our fragile realities can crumble through a fatal mishap.
I hit and killed a young man. He was just 18. That night, the first responders couldn't come for a while, and that was the loneliest and saddest half hour of my life.
And they told me that 2 men had died in the accident that I was at fault for. I didn't think that I deserved to be on this earth. I felt like it was a mistake that I was alive. How can you go on after you've taken 2 lives?
On September 23, 2018, in the Utah mountains, Kayleen Richins' life was changed forever. That day, she and her family were out target shooting. What they didn't realize was that behind the target they set up was a road. On that road, another family was driving by. Kayleen fired 3 shots, removed her ear protectors, and heard screaming. Her bullets had struck a 14-year-old boy in the head, killing him instantly. Today, Kayleen has come to speak about the tragic day that will haunt her forever. Kayleen joins me now in studio. Well, what gives you the strength to speak up today about your story?
The desire and the hope that I can prevent future tragedies, and just the support system that I have, my husband, my children, the people around me. I never want something like this to happen to anybody else. And so whatever I can do to prevent that, I'll do.
Can you take me back to that day? What happened after you realized you pulled the trigger and that something had happened?
Well, when we first took our hearing protection off, we heard the screaming, and my initial thought was it was just some teenagers out goofing around. And then the Jeep came flying up onto the top of the hill and stopped, and we could hear what they were screaming and realized what had happened. My 4 children were with us, and so we had them stay where they were at as me and my husband ran up the hill to see if there was anything we could do. It was very obvious that nothing could be done. My husband called 911, and I went back down the hill to my children and took them around up to where our campsite was, where we'd been sitting, so that they didn't have to be witness to what had happened.
What went through your mind as you began to process that this little boy had passed?
It's like living in a nightmare that you can't wake up from. Never thought I would be in this position. Thank you. I couldn't believe it had happened. We've always been very careful. We're worked really hard at teaching our kids gun safety. And I was in shock. It's unbelievable.
So in the days, weeks after the incident, the community was in mourning. And obviously the story made headlines. How did people respond to you?
Those who personally knew me, most of them were very supportive. There are a few people that no longer associate with me. But there is a lot of anger. You know, there are times where I was out that I could hear people talking about me. Mm-hmm. Some of them knew who I was and didn't realize that I was there. I learned to quit answering my phone. I got a lot of blocked phone calls. I shut off all my social media because I would get messages from people and then they would block me from them. So you have to learn to just ignore people. You know, they are allowed to feel however they want. You know, they don't know the story. They don't know me. And if it makes them feel better to be angry at me, then, you know, that's okay, because there's nothing that they can say to me that I haven't said to myself.
Yeah, that's tough. With your guilt, you pleaded guilty mm-hmm. to negligent homicide.
Yes.
And you've said that you thought you might spend the rest of your life in prison. Did you believe that that would be the right penalty for you, that you deserve that?
It wasn't necessarily that I believed it, but I remember sitting up on the mountain while we were waiting for the police to arrive, thinking that whatever came my way, I was willing to accept, because I killed somebody's kid.
As painful as for you to say that, investigators, as you know, went out to the site. They determined that there's no way you could have seen the road, nor would have expected it to turn the way it did from where you were standing. Did that alleviate some of the pain, to know that at least officially people weren't blaming you?
A little bit.
So Kayleen was sentenced to community service and educating the public on gun safety, although I understand the judge was originally going to sentence you to 1 day in jail for every year of the child's life. What have you said to the family?
I don't feel like I have the right to impose on them until they're ready. The only contact we've really had is to ask them if we could dedicate the presentation that I do to the hunter safety groups on gun safety in the video that I made in their son's memory. But we've tried very hard to be very respectful of their feelings.
I'm glad you came here today.
Thank you.
So we're going to keep talking about this. Coming up, a car accident that took the life of an 8-year-old boy, and what the woman behind the wheel says still haunts her today.
I live with the memory of that small, broken body, and I live with the memory of his mother's screams. And I'll always wonder if there's something I could have done differently to avoid hitting him.
Today we asked a heart-wrenching question: what happens after you accidentally kill someone? We're back with Kayleen, who was practicing target shooting, and one of her stray bullets hit and killed a teen boy. You just saw a clip of Marianne. She says she will never forget the boy whose life she took that fateful day. It's a horrifying reality she's had to face for more than 40 years.
Yes.
Marianne, thank you for being here. What happened that day that changed your life forever?
At the time, I was a student living in a small town in Ohio. On a beautiful spring day, I was driving along a country road back to my student apartment when an 8-year-old boy named Brian darted into the road. I tried to swerve, but I hit him, and he died before he reached the hospital.
You were 22 years old when this happened.
Yes, I was.
Did you ever wonder, why did this have to happen to me?
I think I wondered that from the very beginning, and I concluded that I must be a terrible person. I blamed myself, although I was not charged with any offenses. I was convinced that this child's death was my fault. It happened in front of my car. I collided with him. I also struggled with pretty severe trauma symptoms for quite some time, horrible images that I'd be making breakfast or brushing my teeth, and all of a sudden a terrible image would pop into my mind. I was overcome with guilt and grief and fear. It was very difficult to concentrate. So it was a very, very difficult time, and I definitely held myself responsible.
It took a while, but years later you wrote a letter to the boy's mother.
Yes, I did.
Did you ever get a response?
I did. I received a response from his brother. His mother had passed away.
Oh.
And the brother and I have had a number of conversations which I believe have been very healing and helpful for both of us. And I'm pretty awed by his generosity of spirit. It's a gift and a bit of grace. I will say, people ask me all the time about contacting the family of the victim that they unintentionally killed. And what I tell them is, if they are hoping for forgiveness or some understanding or some reconciliation, they're probably not ready to make that approach, because they don't really, in my opinion, have the right to ask for that from their victim. But when their healing has progressed to a point that they could just speak from the heart and say, your son, your partner, your spouse lives with me, is in my heart, and I just want you to know that, because I know he's in your heart too. That can be very beautiful and powerful.
So there are about 20,000 people in this country who accidentally kill someone else. It's not that rare.
Right.
And I've taken care of lots of folks in my life who felt responsible for the deaths of others.
Sure.
Sometimes it's people who are in a car accident. Sometimes it's police officers trying to keep the place safe. Healthcare providers.
Right.
When patients don't do well.
Right.
And what I've noticed, I don't know if your research has shown this, is there's a deep sense of quiet, of solemnness that happens.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you've been listening to Kayleen's story.
Yes.
What's your message of hope for her? Because I feel a deep sense of darkness in you, Kayleen. I probably feel it's been how many days or months since that child died?
16 months and 1 day.
And you have children that are similar age.
I have 4 children between the ages of 11 and 18.
Okay, Kayleen, this tragic shooting will change you, but it doesn't need to define you. You're so much more than that. And I don't think anybody could have watched and listened to your interview with Dr. Oz and not recognized that you're a very caring and thoughtful person, and also very brave for coming out here and telling your story. I want to invite you to honor that young boy who died too young in the choices you make going forward. You've already started to do that with your gun safety activism, and that's very beautiful. What I find is that when unintentional killers reach out to other people, they actually heal themselves even as they're helping others, because we regain our self-respect, a sense of ourselves as good people that we've lost. We regain trust in ourselves and the world, and we regain a sense of acceptance. We're no longer disconnected from the people around us. We're part of a community, and we're helping to make that community a safer, kinder, more compassionate place. So that's my invitation to you. I think you're already on that journey. I have every confidence in your ability to succeed, and I wish you peace.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Kayleen, what will it take for you to forgive yourself and find some bit of peace?
right now, I don't know that the forgiveness will ever truly come. I think it's more acceptance and moving forward, so that it's not defining me, so that I'm making a difference in other people's lives. My whole purpose now is to make sure that nobody else goes through this.
I wish you the best going forward. I know it's a long road. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. Coming up, medical mysteries that will shock you. What would you do if your skin looked like fish scales all over your body? Or could you be allergic to something so vital to life as water? Medical cases that will baffle you. That's next. We're back investigating medical mysteries. Imagine your skin feels and looks like this. Scales that look like they're from a fish all over your body. You're covered with thick, dry scales that peel off to become painful cracks on your body's biggest organ. Today we investigate the medical mystery of what could cause skin to blister, peel, and shed so visibly and so intensely. For one woman, she says her skin gets so dry that her eyelids flip out. Take a look at what she goes through every day just to get out of the house.
I'm totally not a morning person, but this is the most important part of my day because it sets the tone for my skin. So I always start with eye drops, just to keep my eyes hydrated so they don't close all the way. How would I describe my skin? Rough, dry, flaky and peely, broken because it doesn't do what it's supposed to do. One of the things with my condition is I always have to carry lotion around. And my skin also sheds, so I have to be constantly sweeping. Growing up different was definitely a challenge emotionally. I felt most people saw my skin first instead of getting to know who I am. I began to feel worthless and less than, all because of my skin.
I'm so happy that you're here. May I touch your hand?
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So please share with everybody the name of your condition.
Yes, it's called lamellar ichthyosis, and basically my body sheds old skin cells off too slow, and that's what causes the dry, flaky scales.
Lamellar ichthyosis. Mm-hmm. So you can tell when your skin is starting to dry out. What does that mean you have to do, and what does it feel like?
It basically starts out feeling more itchy than normal, and it'll start actually feeling tight and maybe a little tender, and that's how I know I need to reapply the lotion.
So I notice your skin, and you point out in that piece, it's the first thing people see, and one does notice. I noticed your eyes first, by the way, which are beautiful.
Thank you.
But may I examine your hands?
Absolutely.
So this is pretty typical, the scaling. Mm-hmm. And does it hurt when I touch it? No,
not at all. I actually don't mind when people aren't afraid to touch me because so much of my life people wouldn't touch things I touched.
Well, I'll keep holding your hands then.
Sure.
What was that like as a child, having people, I'm sure they had nicknames for you and they had unfounded fears and they judge you based on what you look like, something you couldn't change?
Oh, absolutely. When I was little, it was a huge challenge because you just want to fit in, you want to belong. And when I started school, parents actually called the principal and wanted their kids taken out of my class.
The parents called?
Yes. I think they were afraid it was contagious, which it is not. Oh. And as a result, the kids, I think, were afraid of it then because their parents were. Sure. And when I actually started school, they wouldn't touch things I touched. I was bullied by exclusion, always kind of left out on the outside looking in is how I often felt. I get stared at everywhere too. And I know it's just something that people aren't used to seeing, so it's their natural reaction, but that's hard too when you're constantly being stared at.
Well, it's your largest organ, just to put in context, as I know you know, but for everybody else, we probably have 20 square feet of skin. That's like a small bathroom worth on the floor of skin. It's a lot of skin, right? Protects us from germs. It's vitally important to how we feel things and touch things, how we're perceived by others. And so the emotional side's one part of it, and I want to come back to that in a second, but the physical part's really important. And for example, regulating your body temperature is probably a challenge, because I don't know, do you sweat normally through the skin?
I actually cannot sweat.
You can't sweat at all?
No.
So how do you deal? That's dangerous.
It is. It's actually life-threatening. Something as simple as a fever, I could actually die from. So thankfully, I haven't had one in many, many years. But I basically carry around a spray bottle that I fill with water, and I call it my fake sweat.
Oh, I see it there, yeah.
And what it does is it acts as my body's way of sweating.
So this is it's dangerous. Actually, you're brave that you can grow up with a problem that you probably were aware at a young age could be lethal to you. Mm-hmm. One of the things that's amazing to me is some of these. This is a genetic abnormality.
Correct.
So not something you could have done or changed. We don't have a cure for it. It can happen in any skin tone, right? And the condition is something that most folks don't understand. So if you want to spend 2 seconds explaining it, and let me give a little background. When children are born with this condition, they have this little translucent film almost. This is what you look like as a baby.
Yes.
Which I think is really cute.
My grandma said I almost looked like, when I was born with the collodion membrane, I was almost like I was a sausage link, because you have like that casing around you.
Exactly, the casing.
Yeah.
Right. And then the membrane is replaced by the thicker, scaly skin as you get older. And emotionally, from the first moment you can remember life, all the things that you mentioned, which you're processing so beautifully now, was there, and it's hard to do that. How'd you cope emotionally? How'd you get to this point as I don't know, I'll use the word, healthy as you appear, balanced as you appear?
It's definitely been a huge transformation, and people who know me now, they find it hard to believe that I used to be shy and insecure. But it was kind of threefold. One is definitely my faith, because I believe God creates everyone in his image, and the very things that we often see as flaws are the things he's going to use to impact the world in a big way.
Beautifully said.
Thank you. And secondly is the performing arts. I remember my first dance show. I was far enough away from the audience that for the first time in my life, people saw me as Bailey the dancer instead of Bailey the girl with the weird skin. And then the third, and everyone struggles with insecurities. I'm sure you have them as well.
Absolutely.
And when you look in the mirror every day, you have a choice. And you could choose to believe all the things that the world tends to say is beautiful and you have to fit into the certain mold, or you could choose that you're beautifully unique just the way you are. And life is so much better when you choose the second route.
So you redefine beauty.
Yes.
Bailey's beautiful now.
Yes. Well, I always have been beautiful.
Yes, you always, exactly. Now you realize you're beautiful.
Now I realize it. I'm owning it.
You have the power of one, which we've been talking about on the show a lot. You have a strong voice, you use it, you speak the truth, and you're going to change a lot of lives by doing that.
Thank you.
Bless you for coming to our stage.
Thank you so much.
Up next, a medical mystery that is baffling. Can you be allergic to something that all of life depends on? Water. We'll be right back.
It was a relationship that ended very poorly.
Tried to ruin my life.
Revenge porn.
Not only were there topless photos of me, but they had added a Google map to my location.
Oh my. That's coming up on Thursday. We're back investigating medical mysteries. Water. It's vital for survival. But what if every time you take a sip of water, or showered, or got caught in the rain, your skin became red, itchy, and felt like it was on fire? My next guest says her body rejects water, and even a drop of water can put her at risk.
I see water as an obstacle in my life. I'm literally allergic to water. So if I'm externally exposed to it, there will be hives and rashes, and internally I will have abdominal cramping and migraines and fevers. Foods with high water content, like fruits and vegetables, can be pretty painful for me to eat. I've even recorded the sound of my stomach when it's cramping. Things as simple as washing my hands is painful, brushing my teeth really hurts. I honestly only shower about 1 to 2 times a month now. Dehydration is a pretty constant symptom of mine. I've even been admitted to the ER on multiple occasions. Having a chronic condition with invisible symptoms can be really challenging because there's a lot of discrimination. I've even had a woman accuse me of faking my disability. There's so much that I can't do because of my condition. My body is just fighting a battle with itself and its environment.
Tessa joins us via Zoom. Tessa, thanks for being with us. Let's go back to the very beginning. This started when you were about 8 years old. Pretty young. What kinds of symptoms did you first notice?
I first started noticing I had really big rashes all over my body when I'd step out of the shower. So at first we thought maybe I could be allergic to my shampoos or my soap or body wash, but it just kept coming back to water. It was in lake water, oceans, rainwater, even just my own sweat and tears.
So how did the doctors pinpoint that your body was reacting, in fact, to the water you mentioned? I mean, it's so essential to life. I'd never heard of it before I'd heard your story.
Yeah, most people have not heard of it. It was pretty hard to diagnose. It took us a few years. It started with just eliminating food allergies and eliminating allergies to anything else I'd be coming into contact with. But a water allergy test is super simple. You just get a towel, soak it in room temperature water, and lay it over your upper limb. And within about 20 minutes, you'll see a reaction.
So what was your reaction when they actually made this diagnosis of a water allergy? It's so jarring.
Yeah, I was a kid. I was only 8 to 10 years old when this was happening, and I was kind of in denial of it. I didn't really know what was going on, so I didn't really know how to accept it. And I would lie about my condition to people, to friends. I would say it was my asthma. It wasn't something underlying from that. So I really didn't accept it until I was older.
It does sound unbelievable. And just for everyone who's listening, since I've read up on it, it appears around puberty. We're not sure why it happens. One theory, by the way, is that the water actually activates something on your skin or in your body. And Tessa gave us, thank you for sharing your medical records. And medical records actually demonstrate this. It's a rare case of what's called aquagenic urticaria. Aquagenic is water and urticaria is hives. So basically you're allergic to water. It's real. Yeah. And in your case, you say that you're allergic both externally and internally. So which means you can't even drink water. So how do you stay hydrated?
I try to stay hydrated using whole milk. The fats and proteins and sugar found in whole milk actually help kind of like sneak the water molecules into my system. But even my level of hydration is probably everybody else's level of dehydration.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to avoid water, right? It makes up 60% of our bodies as well. So can I ask sort of a personal question here? Many are probably thinking, how do you shower, right? Because that must affect your body adversely. How often do you shower?
I only shower about 1 to 2 times a month right now.
And what happens when you do shower?
Even in cold water, I will get a fever within about 5 minutes of stepping into it. I will exit the shower with hives pretty much all over my body, and I have to rest for about an hour or 2 afterwards.
I would only shower once a month or less too, personally. All right, so what about if you're outside playing and it starts to rain?
If it starts to rain, I will do anything I can to get inside. Whenever I'm in rain, I will get a fever and a migraine, and it's really awful. But if I have to go out in the rain, I have an umbrella built for like 4 people that I will hunker down underneath to try to stay dry.
Well, I tell you, I commend your resilience and for being able to smile about it. Then keep hanging in there. This is what I think we'll find a cure for. You just got to figure out exactly what's going down. All right?
Yeah, I hope so.
Stay out of the rain. Thanks for sharing your story. We'll be right back. Coming up, children who say they've lived past lives. Could this boy have lived a past life as baseball legend Lou Gehrig? Today, we investigate the phenomenon of past lives and the children who say they've lived them. Like a toddler who told his parents he once lived a past life as a Civil War soldier. Or a 10-year-old who says he had a past life as a Hollywood agent in the 1950s with lots of details. And you're about to meet a boy who says he lived a past life as someone who died nearly 70 years before he was born. Baseball legend Lou Gehrig. Please welcome Christian and his mother, Kathy. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
So, Kathy, take me back to when this all started. Christian was 2 years old, so I don't know if you even know this. Probably most kids don't remember when they're 2. What was so unique about your son that also caught your attention?
Well, we're not baseball people, and he saw some neighborhood kids playing baseball in the neighborhood and became so obsessed with baseball that he had us playing baseball with him like 8 to 10 hours a day. We put some videos on YouTube. They got like 10 million views, and still these videos of him when he was 2, 3, 4 years old get millions of views like every year still, 10 years later.
It's a good throw. You're a lefty, which is an advantage.
Yeah.
So Christian started making comments at the same time that he started playing. And Kathy, this is probably something you'll remember more than he would. And I gather you were on a plane one day and he said something that stopped you in your tracks.
Right, in the very beginning, I didn't think much of it. He would say strange things like I was a tall baseball player.
But he'd say it in the past tense.
He would say past tense, but I would correct him. So when he was 2 years old, Adam Sandler saw him on YouTube and flew us to Boston to be in a movie. And while we were on the plane, I was trying to put his seatbelt on and he was struggling with me and he said, I didn't wear seatbelts when I was big and I drank alcohol. And even then, I didn't think much of it. It was a little embarrassing. People were laughing. Yeah. But it really, when he turned 3 is when the floodgates really opened and he began sharing very specific details, things that he hadn't had any access to that information.
One I know is it happened when he saw a picture of this gentleman. I'll put it up there if you don't mind. This is baseball legend Babe Ruth. So Christian, how did you react when you saw that picture?
When I saw it, I got very furious and I waved my bat up in the air and I told my mom, I don't like him. He was mean to me.
We were at Fenway Park when he saw that.
Yeah.
He was 2. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a weird thing. Babe Ruth had played in Boston initially.
Yeah.
So had you ever talked or mentioned Babe Ruth? Have you talked about baseball history at all with your son?
Not at all. We weren't baseball people. His dad's from Germany, so not at all.
And so you just thought this was a wild imagination of a young child growing?
Right, I really did in the beginning, but then as time went on, he got so specific and shared just very specific things about playing baseball in the 1920s and 30s. He was able to recognize people in photographs and name some people. So it just, the more that these details came out, I realized there was no possible way that he could just be making it up.
So you started asking around for advice about what
Right.
might be going on with your son. What did you learn?
Right. Well, reincarnation is not part of my belief system, being a Christian. I went to my pastor, and the first thing he said was maybe he's, possessed by an unwelcome spirit, like a spirit of a dead person, which as a mother, that's very disconcerting.
Scary.
Right, right. So then I took a very scientific approach, which you'll appreciate. I went to the University of Virginia School of Medicine and got in contact with researchers there who've been researching children's past lives. For the last 50 years, they've documented almost 3,000 cases. And what they told me to do is show him photographs from Babe Ruth's era, because we knew he was upset by Babe Ruth. We knew some things he had said that would be consistent with that era. Like when he grew up, he said there was fire in the lights, like gaslighting. So I showed him some pictures and...
Like gaslighting from the 20s?
Yeah, well, this was early
Street
1900s.
lights.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So
in the
you-
house, too.
So Kathy showed this picture to her son. This is the 1927 Yankees, maybe the best team to ever play baseball. And Babe Ruth is in this picture. He's top row, third from the left. Christian, what did you say to your mom when you saw this picture? Were you surprised by it? Could you find yourself in it?
Yeah, I immediately pointed to a guy with dimples and I said that was me.
It's a guy in the top left. We circle him. That's Lou Gehrig.
Yeah.
And at the time, we didn't even know who it was, but...
What was that like, actually hearing your son at least be able to put some language behind what he was trying to tell you?
Yeah, I was grateful at the time that I had Dr. Tucker and Carol Bowman, who's another expert in the field, because they said continue to show him photos. So I showed him photos of Lou Gehrig's parents. He was able to pick out the names from a list of names. It was strange. It was definitely strange as a mother, but I really wanted to listen to him and be there for him.
Do you remember that picture being taken? Or details about what was going on then?
No, not too much.
But you felt pretty comfortable picking out that person, Lou Gehrig,
Yeah.
in the image. So there are probably some folks out there thinking, Kathy, you're feeding your son this information. There's just no way. What do you say to those skeptics?
Well, I was the most skeptical of all. And, the only reason we're really sharing the story now is not to convince people of reincarnation, but really just to share that message that our souls survive death. That love can surpass one lifetime. And I really feel like if we can start to see people as souls within a body, rather than, this physical body representation of who we are, we can have a lot more compassion, be a lot just less judgmental. And I think really the world needs that right now. So.
For sure it needs that. But I'm really curious what's going on with you, Christian. So when we come back, the chilling memory Christian says he remembers from his past life as Lou Gehrig. Plus, could you have a past life and not know it? Stick around.
It was a relationship that ended very poorly. Tried to ruin my life.
Revenge porn. Not only were there topless photos of me, but they had added a Google map to my location.
Oh my. That's coming up on Thursday.
Oh.
Made the cash. We've been talking about children who say they lived past lives. Christian says he once lived a past life as Lou Gehrig. He's back along with his mother, Kathy. Also joining us is medium Anna Raimondi, who trained past life regression therapists. So you know a lot about this. So Christian, you started having memories when you were 2.
Yeah.
What is the first memory you have, personally, of the past life?
Well, when I was little, I used to tell my parents like things. I was a tall baseball player, and that I stayed in hotels almost every night and stuff like that.
What did it feel like to have those sensations, those visions, those memories? Did it ever frighten you?
No, not really, but it was strange.
Because you'd never seen those really. You just sort of felt that they were part of you.
Mhm.
And you're 11 now.
Yeah.
Are you still having those memories?
No, when I turned 6, they started slowly fading away, and that's what usually happens with past life memories.
And your mom is taking you to hospitals to talk to doctors about this.
Yeah.
And so you learned a fair amount about it. Does it bother you? You don't have those memories anymore, or you're okay moving on?
I'm okay moving on.
And what makes Christian's story so unique?
A couple of things. First of all, he remembers so vividly and specifics. You know, often kids will talk about past lives, but they kind of drop in memories and then they're out. He lived with this. He felt it. This was me. Also, Lou Gehrig is not gone very long, you know, and to have a soul that is shared with someone famous who hasn't been gone very long is also quite unique.
Yeah, it's not Caesar or Cleopatra. It's someone who's, you know, people remember being alive with Lou Gehrig. So if you can, give us a quick insight about what reincarnation really is.
Well, you know, our bodies die and it goes to dust, but the soul goes on forever. And so when we die, the energy of the soul has vibration, you know, goes on. And the soul has an opportunity to right some of the wrongs it did in a past life. And so the soul will come back and, you know, occupy another body.
And is it common that a child will lose this ability to experience a past life as they get older?
Yeah, there's an open window between birth and 6. You know, usually around 6, kids are becoming socialized. They're becoming their own selves, okay? And they tend to forget about, you know, what their past life was. I mean, you can see like, well, babies will point and talk and they can't communicate, but they're seeing and feeling, and then it goes.
Are you picking up anything? I'm not putting pressure on you, but sitting here
A couple
next
of things. First of all, there's a man here named Richard. It's
my dad.
Who says he goes to all the games, and he's with a younger female, Chris. He's with her. They go to your games.
My stepsister who passed away is named Kristen.
Okay.
And my dad's named Richard Bird. Richard Bird is my father.
And he passed away also?
He passed from Alzheimer's.
They go to all your games.
And he played baseball with him before.
But he loves that you have become your own. Like you're not, it's your Christian now. But I'm also feeling Babe Ruth, okay? Not Lou Gehrig, Babe Ruth, because he wants to set the record straight. He's sorry, and he wants you to let that go.
And the reason I'm emotional is because he still has issues with Babe Ruth at this age. He still doesn't really like him because of the past things. So it really touches me that you.
Yeah, you got to let it go. Don't hold it anymore.
Well, he's a complex character. And you
beautiful.
may not let it go with Babe Ruth, or you may not remember Lou Gehrig, but I understand you're a lefty, which Lou Gehrig was also.
Yep.
At least he batted lefty. So can you throw left-handed?
Yeah.
Well?
Yeah.
I'm taking my ring off because I've learned long ago, don't wear any rings when you guys come on over here. Let's see what you got. I'm going to have you throw it a break, literally. All right? Hit the glove. I got the children's glove, by the way, here. I'm not moving it. All right, let's see what you got, Tiger. Jeez. All right, throw us one more time. Put it down here, Coach. There we go. Well, it's the best I can do with this glove. Christian, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You can hear more of Christian's story in the book, The Boy Who Knew Too Much, an astounding true story of a young boy's past life memories. We'll be right back. Nice job.
Thank you.
This next story is going to give you all the feels, guaranteed. This mama chihuahua, Rosa, gave birth to a premature litter. And tragically, none of them survived. But that's not the end of the story. I wouldn't have told it. Because Rosa was in the process of being rescued. And that's when an amazing thing happened. It's a little bit of serendipity. Joining us now via Zoom to tell us more about it is Rachel Mayrose, the executive director from Second Hand Hounds. So, Rachel, while Mama Rosa, who lost her pups, was in transit on the way to your rescue, your phone rang again. What was that call about?
It was a call from an Indian reservation, and they had 5 2-week-old baby puppies who had just lost their mom and had nowhere to go. So Secondhand Hound said yes, and we thought maybe we could make a love match.
All right, so you get 1 dog mama, 5 dog babies, sort of serendipity. You're thinking about maybe a match. So what happened next, Rachel?
It was crazy. It was like fate. We introduced them. Mama dog Rosa, when she heard them yipping, she immediately started wagging her tail, cleaning them, nursing them, and they've been together ever since.
Oh my goodness. So what can we all learn from this story, Rachel?
I think it's just great that Rosa adopted these puppies, and I know some of your viewers might be looking to adopt a dog themselves. And it's just, we want people to know that you don't need to go to a breeder to get a purebred like Rosa or to get little puppies like these guys.
Oh, gosh.
You can go to your local shelter or rescue, and it saves a life as well.
Listen, thank you for all the wonderful work you and others do. Secondhand Hounds, fantastic story. Appreciate you sharing it. Remember, everyone, the power of one lies in the power of you. Make a difference. One person with one voice. Speak the truth. Goodbye, everybody.